Hello and a warm welcome to this special broadcast where we stand to pay our tributes to the departed titan of Tamil politics, five-time Chief Minister M. Karunanidhi, who passed away last evening after battling a long stint of ill health, plunging the entire nation into grief and mourning. Leaders, party workers and fans continue to throng the Rajya Hall where mortal remains of the DMK patriarch are kept. As we speak, the Madras High Court is hearing an urgent petition filed by DMK seeking permission to build a memorial at the Marina Beach for their leader. The man who defined the ethos of an era has left a deep void not only in Tamil politics but also in the field of Tamil literature. Joining me now, senior journalist Shekhar Iyer. Next to him is Ganpati Subramaniam, Chief of Bureau, Puthai Thalamurai. I welcome both of you, and let me begin with you, Shekhar Iyer, that as we speak, of course, this petition which sought for the burial of Karunanidhi at the Marina Beach, the hearing is still on. But what I'm getting to hear and across the net is that the council for DMK has come out and said that they will not settle for anything except for the burial at Marina Beach. Now, this is almost like a stalemate. Is it heading to some kind of an ugly showdown?
Well, it looks like, because this bitter controversy that has been whipped up now over the final resting place for Karunanidhi is in fact, at one end it looks like quite a petty politics that is being played out. But on the other, this only brings back all the bitterness that we used to witness between M.G. Ramachandran and Karunanidhi, and subsequently between Karunanidhi and Jayalalitha. See, there is a bitter side to the Tamil Nadu politics where the rivals could never stand each other. And we thought with the demise of Jayalalitha, the things were, settling down, where at least, I mean, for the first time I could see ADMK leaders visiting Karunanidhi in the hospital. Of course, we also saw DMK leaders calling when Jayalalitha was, this was an unusual sight, because this is something we did not see during the period when MGR and Karunanidhi were the leading lights of Tamil Nadu politics. But this is again likely to bring back the petty dimension of the Tamil Nadu politics that we used to witness, particularly during the 70s and the 80s, and also during the 90s. So this is a very unfortunate aspect, because like in Uttar Pradesh, of course now we are talking of Bua Bhatija politics, I mean Mayawati and Akhilesh can even meet. But there was a time when Mulayam and Mayawati could not meet. But that politics has changed in the rest of the country, where political rivals are not necessarily your enemies. But this thing with this particular episode over the final resting place, of course, today the arguments that are being given, it is the same Karunanidhi who did not allow a proper memorial for Kamraj. It's the same Karunanidhi who did not allow any other leader. At that time, the argument was Chief Minister and non-Chief Minister. Chief Ministers who die in office will rest somewhere. So, see, all these things only is likely to re-inject, I would say, some kind of hatred towards your political opponents, which is the last thing that should happen in Tamil Nadu today, because today Tamil Nadu is filled with a sort of a void of leadership, because you do not have Jayalalitha, you do not have people of stature like Karunanidhi. Therefore, now when the next generation of politicians will now take over, now should this kind of play out at this juncture when the body is lying in state?
Absolutely. You made a significant point, and Ganpati, with Stalin now, of course, at the helm of affairs in DMK, and this kind of a showdown which is playing out, how does it impact on the party workers, the cadres who are there mourning outside? And since a 7-day mourning period has been announced, so do we expect some kind of a law and order problem maybe over the next 3-4 days, or maybe with the presence of the Prime Minister who will be reaching Chennai at around 11 a.m., can things rest a bit? I mean, do you see things mitigating a little, or we continue to see these volatile episodes taking place?
It is not only between DMK and ADMK, or between DMK and the state government. Since the issue is before the court, we can hope that the court may give a solution to the entire controversy.
Right.
But the problem is, even if the High Court gives a solution, will somebody make an appeal in the Supreme Court? So that
no, the very fact that DMK council says that they will not rest for anything except for the burial at Marina Beach, which means that even if the High Court allows, the DMK council or the DMK, the party, will approach the Supreme Court then.
It is possible, but at the same time, what I heard was that the High Court asked the petitioners if they are willing to withdraw their petitions, and they have been given permission to withdraw the petitions. One of the petitions was withdrawn yesterday itself. So therefore, it is possible that if the objections are withdrawn, the court may find a solution, the Madras High Court.
Okay.
Only thing is, if somebody goes in appeal in the Supreme Court, then what happens? Because as Shekharji pointed out correctly, we have mourning happening in Chennai and the body is lying in Rajaji Hall, and we are still fighting over the final resting place.
Absolutely.
Then where is this problem going to end? How long can it drag on? So in a time-bound manner, it has to be solved. And Prime Minister is visiting Chennai today. Of course, Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister are there. I think it will be possible, with the help of the court, of course, to find a solution.
What is not palatable, Shekhar, is the fact that both OPS and EPS visited the Rajaji Hall. They were seen going and visiting Karunanidhi at the hospital. How does this petty politics play out? You visit the place where the mortal remains are lying, you pay respect to the family, you offer your condolences, but at the backstage there is a different kind of politics which is completely playing out?
Well, I think, I mean, I do not know how true that the reports that are coming from Chennai, that within the ADMK also there are different views over this.
Okay.
It seems Edappadi Palaniswamy, the Chief Minister, probably felt that this is not something the Jayalalitha would have allowed if she was around.
In fact, one of the AIADMK workers was heard saying that had MGR been alive, then Karunanidhi would have been allowed a burial place at Marina Beach.
So therefore, you know, this kind of thing, and also within the ADMK there is a lot of tussle and one-upmanship between supporters of Palaniswamy and O. Paneerselvam. And we get to understand that Paneerselvam probably would not have taken such a tough stand. So within the Tamil Nadu government, there are different views on this. But also, I think what could have perhaps gone into the thinking of Palaniswamy and some of his ministers who are supporting him is that allowing Karunanidhi Samadhi to come near Annadurais, the DMK mentor, would have meant, sharing the... While when you pay tribute to Anna's legacy, you would also be paying tribute to Karunanidhi. Now, Anna legacy is claimed both by DMK as well as by Anna DMK, because after all, that AIADMK stands for All India Anna Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam. That is a DMK which broke away, a faction of the DMK under MGR broke away, saying that they will be more truer to Anna ideals, Anna Durai's ideals, who was the first DMK Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, than Karunanidhi would be, because after all, it was in the post-Annadurai period that the DMK split, when differences cropped up between M.G. Ramachandran, who was then party treasurer, and Chief Minister was Karunanidhi.
Right.
And it all started over corruption within the party, because it was MGR who went up, started asking for accounts.
Right.
So there is a background to this, and I would rather look at it this way, that perhaps the idea is, if a Karunanidhi memorial were to come up near Annadurais, then and to treat all the three on par, MGR, Annadurai and Karunanidhi on par as, leading icons of the Dravida movement, would not perhaps serve the future of AIADMK politics.
Right. But as Shekhar just pointed out, Ganpati, is this the most fiercely fought politics over burial do you see in the history of Tamil Nadu politics? Or we've seen it earlier like this?
See, Tamil Nadu, various things are very bitterly fought. Not now. This has been.
No, I'm saying particularly the politics over the burial, the way it's unfolding right now.
Yeah, the burial is only the flashpoint now. The build-up and the background to it is the result of this. But even now, we do not know the exact reason, whether it is a political reason, whether it is a technical reason, because the Chief Minister, Edappadi Palaniswamy, yesterday had a long discussion with the Advocate General and the Chief Secretary, etc. See, nowadays there are other factors also. It is not that the government can take a decision and allot land, etc. because the court cases, petitions that were pending, and also because of coastal area regulations. So central government, state government, they all have a role to play, and of course the court has the biggest role to play. So we can't say that this is entirely, it could be because of petty politics only. There could be other factors really, we never know, which will all come out once the court gives its judgment, and both the sides make their stand clear in the court, then we will know. But right now, DMK has the upper hand. They are claiming that this place rightfully belongs to us.
Right.
Suppose if they are denied, then that will be carried to the people as a grievance. See, our leader has not even been given his rightful place. And to the people, DMK will be able to send a message that AIDMK and the state government are very unfair to us.
Shekhar, it's not the right time to actually sit in the TV studios and say that, you know, at this point of time, the political parties are milking it to the fullest and they are milking the death of such a tall leader to the fullest. But my question to you is that how does this play out in the minds of the people of Tamil Nadu or the people who are on the streets right now? How does it play out in their mind? Because for them, if MGR was a tall leader, Karunanidhi is also a tall leader. If Jayalalitha was a tall leader, then again Karunanidhi is has been equally important for them. I mean, the Janta of Tamil Nadu has voted for both governments alternatively, as largely we've seen.
Yeah, but I think for the people who have been emotionally attached to Karunanidhi, who form the part of cadre of DMK, it's a very difficult, painful moment because they are already, mourning over the death of their tallest leader.
Absolutely.
At a time like this, when a controversy over the final resting place comes, it does lead to a lot of blood because during the hour of grief, that is a moment when it is easier for people to get incited, people to feel agitated, that a disrespect is being shown. So therefore, I think this is I would say a controversy that should not have happened. Considering that Karunanidhi was no doubt the tallest leader, he was one of the most able chief ministers that Tamil Nadu saw, and that would not, by stating that, one is not denying the importance for either M.G. Ramachandran or for Jayalalitha or even for a leader like Kamraj. Absolutely. Because Kamraj also played a great part in social justice. I would say if not, he was part of the movement because he was the tallest Congress leader. Definitely his policies were all aimed at emancipation of the poorest of the poor, the backward people, the Dalits. So therefore, this is not about fighting over legacy. Rather, this should have been, no matter what your politics has been, when somebody passes away, when somebody is no more, the best you can pay homage to a leader like Karunanidhi or for matter any leader would be to maintain certain political decency.
Absolutely.
But that unfortunately is not happening in Tamil Nadu. And also, I would agree with what Ganapati said that there could be other reasons because already the courts have been frowning upon allowing structures or even memorials to come on the beaches.
Marina Beach, yes.
There is a coastal regulation. I think it's between 200 to 500 meters of the waterfront. I mean, these are serious issues. Now, but on an occasion like this, the people are not going to be restrained by what the law says.
Right.
So therefore, and law is always subject to interpretation because in the case of Jayalalitha, the government, the state government, the AIDA government is seen as trying to get around the law by having that her body being buried in a part of an enclosure that was seen as which was part of MGR Memorial.
Right. But I'm sure it's a tough call for the courts as well to counter the popular sentiment of the people, the sentiment of the party cadres, and at the same time also bringing about a balance with the technical and the legal issues. Is it a tough call for the state at the moment? For the courts?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be not an easy cakewalk for anybody. But I still feel that a solution would be found because see, the Prime Minister is visiting Chennai today. We all know the way the Prime Minister functions. For the birthday of ministers or MPs also, he definitely makes it a point to send messages, greet people. And also he visited Karunanidhi in hospital. He also visited Jayalalitha to pay last respects to her in Chennai. And he sent ministers to meet both Jayalalitha's close aides and also Karunanidhi's relatives, etc. So as he reaches today, probably the central government will also be willing to help or cooperate and help in finding a solution. And I think state government would also come under a lot of pressure, as you correctly pointed out, because of the mounting demand from DMK.
Right.
So they would not like to be stubborn and get a bad name out of it. Absolutely. For no reason. So therefore, it is possible that at the end of the day, courts, central government and state government may play a role and find an amicable solution that will be the right thing to do, because you can't have a great leader who is to be put to rest at his Samadhi, and we are still having a controversy over where and how and what will be done, etc. So therefore, I think it is possible that everybody will try and find a solution.
Right. But Shekhar, keeping aside the court hearing for a moment, and if you try and, I mean, you will have to correct me if I'm wrong, that, you know, if you just try and link the aura and the kind of dominance which the Dravidian leaders have enjoyed, almost like a godly status, whether it was MGR or Jayalalitha or it's Karunanidhi, that death has also been followed by an equally tall controversy. Whether it was Jayalalitha, at that time it was taking over of Sasikala, and now you have some kind of a controversy, maybe in the form of this burial place following Karunanidhi's death. So do you see this happening as some kind of a pattern in the Dravidian politics, or it's just like one of the factors which has come about, you know, as part of the larger
No, I would not see a pattern, because we didn't see any pattern in earlier the death of MGR or
because they were sitting chief ministers. So.
Yeah, but I think what is evident is you know, the leaders, particularly the leaders of Dravidian movement, whether they belong to whether they belong to ADMK or to DMK, they have been, they were evolved or made into a sort of a cult personality. Therefore, you had a cult following. So therefore, that cult following did not allow space for accepting any other leader or any other party for that matter. So you had die-hard ADMK supporters, or you had die-hard DMK supporters. Now within DMK also, because of the very nature in which and the tallness which Karunanidhi enjoyed, he had his own cult following. He had his very strong followings who were mesmerized by his writings in Tamil, who were mesmerized by his speeches in Tamil, who were mesmerized by his script he wrote for more than 70 films.
Absolutely.
I mean, this is the kind of, and mind you, Karunanidhi was not some telegenic, cinematic personality. See, he never played hero in any of the political...
There's more of the backroom heroes.
The political film scripts that he wrote for MGR or even for Shivaji.
Right.
He was rather a person behind the screen. But so powerful were his writings. So powerful were his ability to use the Tamil language, the Tamil idioms. I think that created a following which would say, I mean, their love for Tamil, and Tamilians, you know, they love that language, like, of course, anyone else. But then that love had its own dimensions of expression of their own personal power.
Absolutely.
So therefore, today, when you see, and of course, you saw within the DMK, you saw that factionalism started, because you had die-hard Karagiri supporters, you had die-hard Stalin supporters, and eventually even that was coming to head. Of course, today, when Karunanidhi is lying in state, these issues of family politics are, you know, for the moment have taken a rest or on a pause button.
But that's Ganpati, in fact, I'll come to this question as well. I know it's very early to discuss this, because right now the family is united on one aspect, and that is that the burial should be accorded at Marina Beach for the kind of, the tall stature which DMK patriarch enjoys. But there are painful questions within the family as to what kind of legacy will go on, and, you know, whether Stalin will be the man at the helm of affairs as it is being made out to be at the moment. But there are rumblings within the Aragiri camp. What happens to Kanimori? What happens to his two wives? A whole lot of legacy issues, the family property disputes. I mean, they were not all over the media yesterday, but yes, muted voices we could hear on the property issues coming up yesterday also.
Of course, all the problems within the DMK were all capped by Karunanidhi. As long as he was there, DMK was protected from these internal problems, because even when he was unwell, even when he was hospital, just with his presence, he could make sure that it did not explode. Of course, Stalin has been groomed as a successor. Karunanidhi is the president and Stalin is the working president of the party. That was the arrangement that Karunanidhi had made. Karunanidhi also made him as the deputy chief minister, saying very clearly that he will be the successor. He sent Kanimori to Delhi as the DMK representative. And he also sent Aragiri as not only as a MP, but also as a central minister, as a representative of DMK here. That was also in a way to make sure that Stalin would look after things in Chennai and Aragiri would stay away in Delhi. But eventually that did not work out. Aragiri had a lot of problems with Stalin, adjusting with the supporters of Stalin, and eventually he was pushed out of the party, etc. He is keeping quiet now because of Karunanidhi till now. But whether he will keep quiet tomorrow, that is a big question. And whether Stalin will be able to manage and take the party leadership along with him, like Karunanidhi did. Karunanidhi, without an effort, all the leaders were always rallying him, backing him. But whether Stalin can command the same kind of following and respect, that is to be seen.
So are we, Shekhar, in a position then to say that DMK probably will never be the same again in the absence of Karunanidhi?
Well, definitely, because Karunanidhi somehow managed to keep all the factions together. In fact, it was his own style of ensuring even Aragiri kept quiet for the last 3-4 years. Of course, Aragiri was very upset when DMK lost the by-election in RK Puram, which was won by the rebel ADMK leader TTV Dinakaran.
Right.
And that is the time when Aragiri even said, that was last December of 2017, when Aragiri said this leadership cannot win any election. I mean, this leadership meaning referring to the leadership of his brother. And it was only in January of 2017, Karunanidhi actually allowed Stalin to declare himself as the working president. Otherwise, it was always everything taken in the name of Karunanidhi. Right. Because Karunanidhi could not formally pass on the baton to Stalin because of this very factionalism in the party.
Right. Many some local outfits have already raised, making a clarion call that Karunanidhi should be given a Bharat Ratna. I mean, we've been reading since yesterday, and today also in the morning I was reading at various places and on the websites that, she should be accorded the Bharat Ratna. So how do you see this now playing out? And also this will be one of the points in this fulcrum of Tamil politics.
M.G. Ramachandran got Bharat Ratna. So therefore, it is natural for DMK supporters and party workers to make this demand. But however, it is not that somebody demands and the government can decide immediately. There are some people asking for a similar honor for Jayalalitha also, but due to certain reasons it could not be done. So therefore, these demands will be made, but the point is whether the DMK will remain a strong force to push for any honor for their departed party leader. That will play an important role. Absolutely. Whether Stalin takes over command and whatever challenge from Aragiri and others, whether they are managed well, and most importantly, if Stalin can win elections, like Shekharji pointed out, RK Nagar by-election was lost by the DMK. Rebel DMK candidate TTV Dinakaran won with good margin. So in such a situation, if Stalin can win a couple of elections, next year Lok Sabha elections, and now 2 by-elections are slated, one Karunanidhi seat will become vacant. Recently one MLA from Tirupparam Bose, he died. So therefore that one is also due for by-election. If Stalin can win those by-elections, next year if he makes a big impact in the Lok Sabha election, then he will consolidate the party and push for more honors for Karunanidhi.
Right. In fact, you just spoken about Lok Sabha elections. Shekhar, this death of Karunanidhi coming at a time when Lok Sabha elections are around the corner, when this whole narrative of forming coalition or rainbow coalition or a third front or a fourth front or whatever you call it is just about in the air somewhere. We can't feel it where it is. But this entire talk of this coalition, does this the death of Karunanidhi also hamper this coalition? Because we do not know, because DMK probably would have been an important partner in this coalition. Whether it would have gone with NDA or it would have gone with UPA, we don't know. But what kind of an impact does Karunanidhi's death leave on the fact that you have general elections coming up very soon?
Well, I think Stalin had already thrown his lot with the opposition, of which the Congress is one of the prime players, if not leading an opposition front. Therefore, there is no doubt as on today that the DMK's position is anti-BJP, it's anti-NDA and anti-Prime Minister Modi. I mean, in terms of its politics there. And I think just a few weeks ago, Stalin had made it very clear that DMK can never ever align with BJP. That's the position. But suppose the factionalism were to gain more strength within the DMK. So what are the options for various faction leaders? I mean, if I were to assume that Anagiri starts asserting himself, or say, of course, today Kanimuri is standing with her brother Stalin, but her own role and her own importance, and her mother particularly, Rajya Ammal, has been quite concerned about the future of Kanimuri. And this is something she had often raised with her husband, with her partner Karunanidhi. So it all depends on how, if the DMK stands united, I don't see DMK ever changing its anti-BJP line, because it suits DMK to have that line in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
So I think as far as coalition is concerned, DMK is very firmly there. But of late, what has been happening is, over the seat sharing, because Congress has already initiated some preliminary round of discussions, and Tamil Nadu Congress leaders have not been very happy with what is being indicated, the number of seats that Congress could contest in Lok Sabha elections. Therefore, we have seen Congress leadership at the center, particularly Rahul Gandhi, engaging the smaller parties in the front, which is headed by DMK in Tamil Nadu.
Right.
He recently met Thirumavalavan, who heads the Dalit Panthers party. And there has been attempts to somehow send signals to the DMK, right. Look, we are a serious player. And we need, because there are some issues between Congress and DMK of seat sharing, but that does not indicate any big change in DMK's positioning.
Absolutely.
Now, after the 2019 elections, now once the results are out, one cannot be sure whether the DMK would stay, because the DMK would rather like to go, right. with whoever is forming
Absolutely.
the government. So that option is open, because after all,
right.
in 98 when Jayalalitha, 99 March, when Jayalalitha withdrew support, and then Vajpayee government lost by a single vote, and as soon as elections were held, or even, just as, right. Jayalalitha made an exit, Karunanidhi ensured that DMK was quick to enter into the NDA fold, much to the huge shock and disappointment of Jayalalitha.
In fact, the way Tamil politics will unfold in the coming days is something to be watched out for. But today is a somber moment. We've lost the DMK patriarch, and who was not only one of the tallest leaders, but was also one of the biggest literators of the Tamil world. So he's left a deep void, not only in the field of politics, but also in the field of Tamil art and culture. Rajya Sabha TV pays our condolences, our tributes to the tallest leader. Goodbye and thanks for watching.